showtime.
It's showtime. And here we go.
Welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. My name is George T, and bringing you the weekend box office and what is to come. And I will review the two HBO movies, Elevation and The Parenting, that came out. I've got episodes coming out with Warfare and Sinners as well coming up, and also Amazon Prime movies together, and Netflix movies as well. I've got plenty of content, and I want to just thank all of you for watching and listening and commenting, especially on shorts, and I definitely appreciate it. Alright, so let's get into this episode. Last weekend's box office report. Number one is still Minecraft at 78.5. Still a lot of controversy. I will talk about this in a minute, but number two was King of Kings. This is an animated film, obviously with Easter coming up this weekend. That one snuck in there. It was not on first showing, so I did not get to preview this movie. Made $19.3. The Amateur made $14.8 million. So that was debuted this weekend. The movie I saw, number 4, Warfare, $8.3 million, and finished 5th. So all three of the top movies that were listed on first showing made it on to the top 5. Drop made 7.3. Alright, so I went to go see Warfare, and I was blown away that there were cops in the lobby of the movie theater. This TikTok trend has gotten way too far. I have been reading reports of movie theaters not showing movies without cops present. Also, some movie theaters are shutting down concessions to any teenagers who are seeing the movie, or just general concessions, period. It has gotten even to the point where Jack Black had to surprise some moviegoers at, I don't remember where it was, but telling them that they need to stop. I mean, it's out of control. It's out of control. If I have to go to the movie theater and there's cops in the lobby, which is the first time I've seen this ever, or cops in general at the movies, there's a problem. So we need to not be idiots and just enjoy a movie. I don't understand, these kids who are destroying, movie theaters. It's just dumb. It's really dumb, and it's got to stop. And eventually Minecraft will leave the theater, and then we won't have any issues with teenagers doing TikTok videos in a movie theater. And by the way, you're supposed to not have your phones out during a movie. I mean, it's right there. I don't know about other states or whatever, but my local theaters all have, before the coming attractions, they have the little vignettes where you don't have your phone on. I mean, it's common sense, but we know that this world has no common sense. It's sad. Anyway, let's look at this weekend's box office. It is a couple of big movies. One is the one I'm going to go see this weekend, Sinners. This has 2 Michael B. Jordans in it, and from the trailer I showed a few episodes back, it looks really good. It got 100% Rotten Tomato score. It has 2 Michael B. Jordans on screen fighting vampires. And down south, and it looks really, really interesting. And I'm really hoping that that 100% is definitely, because that looks like it might be in my top 10 at the end of this year. Right now, I only have two, so this could be the third, and we're only into April, so yay! Movie coming out called Sneaks. So this is going to be an animated film. Anthony Mackie, Lawrence Fishburne, um, Martin Lawrence add voices to this animated movie about sneakers trying to find a soulmate. So think Secret Life of Pets, Cars, that sort of thing. It looks very similar to that from the trailer I saw. And again, uh, this is a weekend for families because of Easter, so it probably might do well. But with Minecraft, uh, the Amateur Warfare, and Sinners coming out, I don't know where this is going to fit. So, but again, it is a family film, so it might do pretty well. Although Minecraft seems to be in control. And again, if you're going to see Minecraft, make sure you're accompanied by an adult or act, you know, like you're supposed to. Another movie that is being hyped, and I saw this trailer at Black Bag. When I watched that, it's called The Wedding Banquet. This is about a gay man, a Korean gay man, who has to propose to a lesbian who he is trying to help with her in vitro fertilization treatments because of a Korean grandmother who wants him to get married. And it is obviously a rom com. It looks pretty funny. I just don't know where it's going to fit in the top 10, but we'll see. Again, looks like a wholesome family movie. Okay, now there's another movie for kids coming out this weekend. The Legend of Ochi. A young girl learns never to go outside until she one day does and finds a baby Oche who has been left behind by its pack, and she has to go on a journey to find the pack. Okay, so, you know, another family movie. So maybe, just maybe, Minecraft will fall a little bit because now you have options. You have King of Kings, which should still be out. You have Sneaks, and you have Legend of OJ. Here's an interesting one, and Guy Pearce and Diane Kruger also play in this, but it's called The Shrouds. Um, a creative entrepreneur, played by Vincent Cassel, um, has lost his spouse and develops a machine designed to communicate with deceased individuals. Oof. I think AI is touching on this a lot with voice, the voice chat stuff. So I don't know how I feel about this movie. I mean, I will see it. It looks very interesting, but you know, kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Finally, a foreign film called The Ugly Stepsister, and again, Ugly Stepsisters. You're thinking Cinderella, and you are correct. This one is a surprising and raw twist, a dark twist, told from the view of the ugly stepsisters to make Cinderella beautiful. And again, it's a foreign film, so this may be, if it gains traction, probably will be up for an Oscar um, in the foreign film category. It looks very interesting from the trailer. All right. With that being said, that is your weekend box office. Now, I've got some news, and some of it may be good, some of it may be bad, or it may just all be good, or it all might be bad, depending on how you feel. Warner Brothers executives have listed a few movies that will be coming out in sequels or reboots. And you know me about how I feel about this. It depends on what we're rebooting, or it depends on why we need to have the sequel. And to be honest, not sure any of these qualify. So, Minecraft is going to get a second one. Now, the interesting part about this article is there were people going to be fired if this movie didn't make any money, and lo and behold, it does. I think it was because of the online backlash from the trailer looking like garbage, but with all the success it's had and the viral video uh, field as well, the exec said, we're going to make another one. Okay, all right. So, for you Minecrafters, you're going to get a second one at some point. Okay, I don't know how I feel about any of the rest of this. But because of the success of Beetlejuice, we are looking at possibly another Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice. A very interesting development there. Because again, it made money. And I think in Hollywood at this point, and I think Charles had it right, is that nostalgia is winning out, or could I be right that just Hollywood is just rebooting things just to get that nostalgia back, and because they literally don't have anything to write about originally? Who knows? Another Matrix movie. Despite Resurrections not being a box office hit, but more a viral hit when it came to video on demand. Okay, I mean, look, I love The Matrix. Um, I thought the original trilogy was fine enough. Resurrections was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about, but we're going to get another one. I have my feelings. Gremlins. Yep, you heard me. Gremlins. It had two movies. It had a sequel. Gremlins in New York, or that second one, was more a money grab. And if you guys had seen the movie, did you know that original cut of the movie did not have the Hulk Hogan um, bit scenes in that movie? They put it in after because of the popularity of wrestling, and people saw the found the deleted scene and thought it would be interesting to put in. So when they released it um, on DVD and re-released it to the TV, they put in the scene. But do we really need another Gremlins? Some probably 40 years later. I did get to meet Zach Gillen, who played Billy from obviously the original two Gremlins. We don't really know about much of any of these, except that Warner Brothers is thinking about putting these out. Whew. And finally, Goonies. Okay, so this one has been sparking some interest online. Um, I met some of the Goonies at one of the Comic Cons, um, but again, another 40-year-old movie now going to get a sequel. Again, I just don't know how do I feel about these. Um, again, with Happy Gilmore, being, two coming out in July. We've got a reboot of The Naked Gun, which was a funny trilogy with Leslie Nielsen. and now, um, you know, Liam Neeson is playing Detective Drebin. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about any of this. Um, but hey, I guess studios are going to make what they want to make, and I guess it's up to us to decide whether we want to see them or not. It's basically how it's going. Reboot or remake of the Bodyguard is presumed in the works. Okay, Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston. Why do we need to redo this? Why? It was a good movie for its time. It had one of the top songs back in the day. That thing was on the charts forever. I don't know. Oh, look at this. Speaking of reboots that we probably don't need, um, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Okay. B horror movies back in the day being remade. I don't have any words for this. However, I do know that Ryan Gosling has signed on for this role. Ryan, there's probably so many other projects you could be doing, and you're going to choose this one. Hey, God bless you. Although I did find one more bit of news interesting. So now that Andor Season 2 is about to start on Disney Plus, which I believe is Wednesday, or next Wednesday, there's talks of, and they're not sure if it's going to be a TV show or a movie, but a Star Wars horror movie. No details have been released, but it has been rumored for a while. And there are books of horror out there for Star Wars. There is the zombie uh, stormtrooper books out there. Um, so this may be of interest. Again, I am a Star Wars fan, and I've loved um, the the work they're doing. Um, Andor was the only show I really didn't care for. So, but I think again, I'll have to watch Andor season 2. This has more to do, or more to do with how we get to Rogue One than the original one. So it was setting that up. Also, the Acolyte may be coming back to tell the rest of the story. And there was a lot of controversy over this. And I'm glad they're going to bring it back. Because we need to know how this ends. Or for us Star Wars fans who actually don't trash the fandom, we want to know how this ends. Because the rumor was, and I mentioned this on my Star Wars podcast from last season, which has no video, but you can still listen to it on audio, that the Acolyte was telling the story of Dark Plagueis. So we need to see the rest of it because it will tie Palpatine's story arc together. And I hope that's where they're going because that looked like it was where they were going. And so if it does come back, bravo. Because again, I know retelling Star Wars from outside perspective, or going all the way back before the prequels now, which again fandom was, oh, prequels are horrible, and then the sequels came out and they were like, oh, the prequels are fine, it's the sequels that stink. And some people didn't like Rogue One and they didn't like Solo. um, Solo 2 had been rumored for a while, but I haven't heard much about that. That would have tied Solo's um, arc to New Hope, but there has been no traction on that. although there are the fake Rogue One sequels out there, which if if you take them with a grain of salt, then I will sell you a bridge in London, um, because we all know the sequel to that is Star Wars. So anyway, so those are your movie news and the weekend box office. So now I want to talk really quickly about two movies that were on Max that are just Max exclusives. We have Elevation and we have The Parenting. I'll talk to Evolution right now. So Anthony Mackie, Maddie Hassan, and uh, Maureen um, Baccarin are the three main characters in this. Anthony plays Will, Maddie plays Katie, and Maureen plays Nina. So this is about survivors living above 8,000 feet because of a um, bunch of killer creatures that came out of the ground and just started killing people. And so you've got, um, you know, you've got some survivors, and you've got Will, who has a young son who has a medical condition. And it starts with him almost running out of supplies for his son. So he wants to take a trip down below 8,000 feet to grab supplies and come back. Maddie and Katie and Nina are his guides, more or less. Nina is a scientist who have been working on trying to defeat these creatures and try to figure out why they can't come above 8,000 feet. So, interesting premise. Katie is a young girl who is not as wise as the other two, and she gets herself in trouble in this movie. So they plan out a escape down across 8,000, and of course everything goes wrong. There's blocked tunnels and so on, and then they run into the creatures, which have some impenetrable skin, and they're just emptying clicks into them, and it's like, why can't these things get stopped? And then they're using bombs, and they're just keep coming, and eventually you have to get above 8,000 feet, and then they disappear. So there's like these line boundaries, um, and you're like, huh, this is a crazy weird movie that creatures can't go above 8,000 feet. As the movie goes along, we found out why. So eventually they wind up figuring out how to kill them. After Katie's death, Nina and Will stay below 8,000 and figure out how to get to a lab that has some supplies and some weapons. Nina figures out a way to get into the skin of these robots. Yes, robots. So these creatures are robots. Where these robots came from, or why they were underneath the Earth's surface until this planned out attack, we don't know. So the movie, pretty much finishes up with they figured out how to defeat them, and as they continue to wipe them out, they start to head back down below 8,000. And then the movie ends with 3 meteorites flying in overhead, heading toward Earth. Sequel? Huh. Okay. So I give this an even. It's watchable. The premise is a little far fetched. That mechanical creatures would live under the ground and then start killing people, and then can't go above 8,000. Uh, that would be like sending the astronauts into space, but right before they get to Mars or the moon, turning back around and saying, well, we can't get there. Technology doesn't get there. So maybe actually I'm talking myself into a thumbs down. Uh, yeah, so that was kind of a weird film. But Anthony Mackie has been in a bunch, obviously, so far in 2025 with Elevation, Captain America, and then he's voicing Sneaks. And I believe he's in a few other ones this year. So, like I said, I think in the last episode, a lot of actors who are doing a lot of movies this year. Good for them. Finally, we talk about the parenting. So, if you're into horror comedy, this may be for you. It is very slapsticky, think scary movie, but not poking fun at horror movies. Think along that line of the comedy part of it. And I love Parker Posey. Um, if I could ever meet her at a Comic Con, I would definitely do that. Or maybe somebody can share the video to Parker and see if she would come on the podcast. Yes, I'm shooting shots. I'm going to start shooting shots. Um, Parker Posey plays Brenda, who is running this 400 or 500-year-old um, place. She's a caretaker who is making it into an Airbnb. And so we have Brendan Flynn, who plays Josh. We have Nick Doden, who plays Ronan. Um, these two are a gay couple. Josh is thinking of proposing to Rohan, has invited Rohan's family and his family up to this mansion, this old mansion, for the weekend to do this proposal. Josh's family, Lisa Kudrow plays Libby, his mother, and Dean Norris plays Cliff, his father. Two polar opposites, so it makes their chemistry pretty interesting. And then Edie Falco plays Sharon, and Brian Cox plays Frank. A very weird dynamic here. So an evil demon wants to revive himself into a living being to save um, Brenda's life. So it has a multitude of funny clips in here, but it's also somewhat dry at times. So the comedy doesn't work as well at times, but there are some really funny scenes. Basically, Parker Posey, but she was there when needs a vessel for this demon to come back to life. And so the families are there. She traps them in this circle that she came through. So she's kind of got witchy powers, so to speak. And so, um, you know, she's like giving them the Wi-Fi password. Well, the Wi-Fi password is actually a spell that, if they said over and over and over again because the Wi-Fi wasn't working, would summon this demon. So eventually, um, Ryan Cox's character, Frank, does summon this demon, and he attaches himself to Frank, and that's kind of where the hilarity starts. Frank is doing some weird stuff. He's walking around naked. He's swearing up a storm. Um, just things out of the ordinary that you wouldn't think. So those scenes are kind of funny. And then eventually he wants to start killing the other members of the house, and then they have to lock him in a room and keep a guard on him. Josh and Ronan find Brenda over in a house off to the side, and realize that she is not who she thinks, or not who she said she was. So basically, she needs a soul, or her soul would be taken. And so that's kind of where the movie gets to, the weird point of, one person has to pretty much give up their soul for the rest of the people to survive, and then eventually they figure out how they're going to stop the demon and keep Brenda alive. And then it ends with obviously the demon being vanquished, and everyone goes about their business. And yes, they finally get to the point where their proposal is all through. So you've got two movies that are watchable, not big movies, but if you're looking for some original content from HBO Max, or now Max, they're worth a watch, unless it's not your cup of tea. Like again, Elevation. Decent action, but the story is kind of convoluted in the fact that we know that these creatures were not actually flesh and bone type things. They were armored computers things. It's so weird. And then the parenting. If you like the Scary Movie, it's probably going to be up your alley. And if you didn't like Scary Movie, then this probably wouldn't be, unless you're a fan of somebody in the cast. Obviously, you got plenty of good actors in this cast. All right. So that is it for this episode. I've got, as I said, going to see Sinners this weekend. I've got my Warfare podcast coming out this weekend as well. It's WrestleMania weekend for all you wrestling fans, so have a good... Oh, and that's right, it's Easter. Happy Easter to everyone. Hopefully everyone has a safe one, and don't eat too much chocolate. Unless you're at the movies. Bye for now.
You like that, baby? Let him know where that came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.